Putin just awoke a sleeping giant. Today, a sleeping giant stirs, and its awakening will rewrite the rules of global power. That might sound like the opening of a blockbuster, but for the world watching Vladimir Putin act, it may soon feel like suspense becomes reality. I'll walk you through why this giant is stirring, what it means for the world, and what's next, all in a way that's easy to follow, thought-provoking, and yes, a little bit bold. The scene setter. What's really happening? Putin has triggered something much bigger than an isolated move. Analysts argue that his actions, the buildup in Ukraine, the challenge to NATO, the shifting alliances, have caused a reaction far stronger than anticipated. One commentary reads, Putin had awakened a sleeping giant in terms of European defense efforts. What does that sleeping giant represent? It's not a single country, it's an impulse, a renewal of strength and resolve in places that had drifted into complacency. Countries once content with stable borders, small defense budgets, and distant threats are peering over their fences and asking, what if the danger is now at the door? The giant wakes. Examples of the shift. Take Europe. Countries long relying on deterrence are now ramping up spending, mobilizing capabilities, thinking differently about alliances. This is no longer about maybe someday. It's right now. Then there's the metaphor itself. The phrase awakening the sleeping giant is historically potent. From the military quote attributed to Isoroku Yamamoto, I fear all we have done, is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve. The giant is also economic, technological, diplomatic. It's the latent power that gets unleashed when the status quo gets challenged. Why it matters. The big stakes. Bold change rarely arrives gently. When a sleeping giant wakens, everything shifts. Strategy, alliances, even economies. For Putin and Russia, the risk is that by shaking the cage, they provoke an opponent better prepared, more unified, and determined. For others, the awakening offers a chance to redefine their role, an opportunity to rise, realign, resist. For everyone, the message is clear. Resting on old assumptions is no longer safe. The curiosity angle. What's coming next? So what's the giant going to do now that it's awake? Here are a few intriguing possibilities. A surge in defense innovation, new systems, new partnerships, new ways of thinking, a reassessment of global power lines, who protects whom, who pays, who fights, a shift from passive to proactive. Instead of waiting for threats, this giant begins shaping the battlefield. Imagine a world where alliances aren't just reactive, where countries strengthen themselves not because someone pushed them, but because they decide to rise. That's what's at stake. Why you should care. This isn't just geopolitics happening somewhere else. The awakening of a giant affects everything. Supply chains, energy, trade. If major economies wake up, they'll demand more, move differently. Defense budgets and political priorities shift. What seemed like distant news becomes real for everyday people. For you as a viewer, it means stay alert, stay informed, and realize that what once seemed inevitable might now be unstoppable, or at least much faster than you expect. What's the role of individuals in this giant's rise? You might feel small in the face of global giants, but your role is awareness. You become part of the story when you understand the stakes and ask the questions. What kind of world is emerging? How will power and responsibility be distributed? What will our response be as citizens, as consumers, as humans? Curiosity, questions, and engagement are your tools. The giant's awakening invites you to look up, pay attention, and ask, where do I stand? What can I shape? The sleeping giant has stirred, and it's not going back to bed. The choices made now will echo for decades. The rules of engagement, the alliances we take for granted, the sense of security we rely on, all will be redrawn. So if you've been quietly watching, now is the time to lean in. Subscribe to this channel, share this video, and invite others into the conversation.